Okay, so I did manage to get some video while I was at TGS, not as much as I was planning on or hoping to get. The crowds were actually really, really insane. As you can see here, here's some video of the Square Enix booth. You saw a new Dragoon game that's going to be coming out. I believe the last one of those I played was Panzer Dragoon, and Giant Gundam Head just went by over at the Namco Bandai booth. It was a whole lot of fun out there, really. But as you can see from the camera angle, and there's God Eater too, but you can see like the massive throngs of crowds that I was trying to shoot over the top of. And the audio, forget about it. It was just too noisy out there to do anything but record later on. But there were a lot of, there's the new PSPs, there were a lot of really, really cool titles being showcased there. It was a lot like, for those of you who haven't been to Japan, it was a lot like E3 or PAX, and an absolute blast. Those PSPs that you saw there actually have not been released yet. They'll be coming out later this year. It's a new version of the PS Vita, sorry. And back to the God Eater booth because that monster just looked cool. It's the end of the video. Section's coming up. Going to get into some still photography now that I did. This is the model that was hanging out underneath the God Eater booth, pink hair and all. White balancing this was actually kind of problematic because the color kept changing from blue to pink to red to orange, and it was still pretty fun, pretty challenging. And coming up here in a couple seconds, you're going to see the ladies from Monster Energy. They put on a good show. They're actually showing off the new Call of Duty Ghosts game as well as handing out free cans of Monster. It was pretty cool because, you know, caffeine, we all love it, we all need it, we all want it. The models didn't really move around that much. They kind of posed with the cans, kind of like you'd expect them to. Got some decent shots. I was using flash in there. I'm very thankful that they allowed me to use flash. Diffusion dome, occasionally I would bounce it off of stuff that was nearby, but the ceiling was really too high to do a lot of that. Let's see. Need for Speed also put on a decent show. They had their models there as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go hands-on with the game because I didn't find this booth until the very, very tail end of the conference. Like, the conference hall closed at 5 o'clock or 5 p.m. and I found this at like 4:56 p.m. I'm like, well, there goes that. But the models put on a good show. The game looked amazing, and the fact that they would pose with the racer and the police like that is made for some pretty cool shots. And coming up next is going to be Titanfall. Seriously, best in show. And these guys are part of the dev team. If you can't tell by the label on Mishap's shoulder there, these guys were patient, they're cool, they've put a lot of work into this game. They were more than happy to talk about it. I really wish I had media passes so I could have got a little more attention for these guys. I mean, AAA title, yeah, coming out, and here's the display that they had out front with the Xbox model representatives, but the gameplay on this thing looked absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, was not allowed to photograph it because from what I understand it's still an alpha build.